Okay, looks like we've got a couple more that have joined. Thank you for joining us for Recession-Proof Jobs. My name is Bethany Ahoy. I'm a career consultant with the University Career Center, with the School of Arts and Humanities, and the School of Arts and Technology. We're going to get going through the PowerPoint, and then we'll definitely have time at the end for questions. So if you guys would add any questions you have in the chat box, and we will definitely get to those towards the end. All right. Recession-proof jobs. So I want to start this off by saying that, of course, there are caveats to every situation, and by no means are the jobs we talk about 100% guaranteed to be safe in times of economic uncertainty. But we'll go through and we'll look at ways that make jobs a lot more secure within economic downturns. The recession of 2008 is a lot of this information is based off of. So again, these are just kind of good markers to look for. But again, just as in the rest of life, there's no 100% guarantee, except to say that there are no guarantees. So there's a cliche for you. So a few things to take into consideration that we just discussed. Nothing is guaranteed. There's always exceptions. So while a position may be safe in one company, that exact same position within another company might not be safe. So again, we'll talk a little bit more later about doing your homework and knowing what you're getting into. So risk versus rewards. So if you are looking at making 100,000, 200,000 or more a year, and you say to yourself, you know what, this is worth the risk. I make enough money to pay my bills, take care of what I need to, and save in the event something happens and my position is eliminated. So there's definitely some jobs that might be worth the risk for you. So if your job or a potential career that you're looking into doesn't check all these boxes for a safe career, then that doesn't necessarily mean you need to write it off. It's just taking everything into consideration. So these are 3 signs to look for within your job in order for it to likely be a secure position. And again, it may not check each one of these, but these are just good ones to look for. So is it necessary and essential to support everyday life? So without this position, does the community go into chaos? Is it something that no matter what happens, it's going to keep going? Is there a clear and urgent pain on the customer side? So for instance, if you've got a sick kiddo or a sick family member and you need to take them to the doctor, that's clear and you're willing to pay for that service. Same for like your water bill, your electricity. Like these are things that would be the last things to go in some crisis. Does it require specialized training and experience? So the more specialized the training, the smaller the job pool of people able to apply for that job. So you're again more secure in that position versus a job that almost anyone could pick up. So again, 3 things to keep in mind. So we're going to start off with the first one. And again, this is based off of past history as far as like in the recession of 2008, along with what's going on now in the workforce. So secure jobs, definitely the first one would be medical services. But when you got to take a closer look. So like doctors, nurses, they're in high demand right now. You are pretty secure in those areas. However, like dentists, dental assistants, dentists have had to close their practices temporarily right now due to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. So again, the medical industry in this specific situation isn't as safe as it was, let's say like back in 2008 during that recession. So again, differences. So it's just really important to focus in on the specific job. Vets are still open. I know that in my area and a lot of areas, it's drive-by. You're dropping off your dog, you're going on. So while the job's still secure, it looks different. But again, you're going to take into consideration here the risk versus reward. So yes, you have job security as a nurse, as a doctor, but the risk is high. You're putting yourself in the middle of the sickness, the illness. You're working long taxing hours, potentially having to separate yourself from your family. So again, with the good, there's usually, a tough side to it too. So again, risk versus reward. So the medical industry, and there's lots of support jobs within that too. So when you think about working at the hospital, they need everything top down, from financial and accountants, and even down to janitorial services and electricians and all of that would keep a hospital running. So when you think about these industries, you can also think about what these specific industries need to continue going. So specialized care and counseling. So the first thing we think of here is mental health counseling. So a lot of times this is covered through insurance, and so people are the majority of the cost is already covered. So you're definitely going to be more likely to want to use that, especially if your job is at jeopardy. You might step up using these services just in case you won't have access to them in the future. So outside of mental health counseling, you're also looking at occupational therapy, substance abuse counseling, chiropractic care, physical therapy. Again, different types of therapy working with the elderly. So lots that fall in here. And as you can see, it's clear pain. These are people that are hurting either mentally or physically, and they're willing to seek it out, and usually covered by insurance. So again, another area to look into. So law enforcement, I think we can all agree that is definitely necessary regardless of the economy. Without law enforcement, chaos would ensue. So you're guaranteed that the government, everyone will find a way to keep this industry going. Now, again, risk versus reward. So definite job security. As we all know, law enforcement officers put themselves into harm's way in order to keep people safe and protected. So again, there's more positions within law enforcement than being a police officer. They need different administrative tasks and all those type of things as well. So public utility services, again, people are not going to go without water, sewage, waste, trash, recycling services. All of those are going to continue going during economic downturns. They are critical to maintaining order and public health. And interestingly, consultancies that serve those utilities seem to share that benefit. Many cities are required to conduct annual audits of their trash service products. So consulting firms continue and even can see an uptick in business during these times. Okay, so financial services, we hit on that just a little bit earlier. So money is going to continue moving throughout all of this. So again, I know if anyone turns on the news right now, you hear what to do with your stocks, what to do with your retirement, your 401k, savings. There's a lot going on, and people are looking to the experts to help them plan during this time. So again, they're always in demand. So we're talking accountants, auditors, actuaries, claims adjusters, tax preparers, insurance underwriters. There's a very long list of people in financial services. So again, if that's something that interests you, if that's an area where you feel you could thrive in, again, that's a really has a lot of high promise of being secure during these times. But again, it's, what type of financial services are you offering? Are you more on the sales side of things? That might be a little tougher in this market versus someone that's over retirements and things like that. So again, just a lot to keep in mind when you're looking through these. And most of these require specialized training like we talked about earlier. So like CPAs must get certified, enrollment agents, so lots of different certifications and required licenses to do some of these jobs. Education services. So regardless of the economic climate, people want to continue to educate themselves. People want to continue to prepare for the future. So even in times like this, again, it's continuing, but it does look different. So for example, people may gravitate more towards, excuse me, community colleges for savings than they do four-year colleges. Or again, there's a lot more online learning right now. So if you're getting into education right now, you may look at seeing a lot more virtual opportunities than in person. K through 12 is definitely a very secure area to be in, as you can see. And again, here on the news, if anything, they're hiring more teachers to help out during this time. Higher ed, it's a little bit of a different story, so maybe not as safe as K through 12, just because of students deciding, hey, I might take a semester off during all of this, or things like that. So again, it's going to look different regardless, but important to know which position you're applying for and doing your research. So now we're going to look into jobs in higher risk industries. So I think some of these you'd already be able to tell without us discussing. But the construction and supporting industries, so especially right now, and again, this is a very fluke period of time. I mean, the likelihood of us seeing another one of these in our lifetime are pretty slim from what science is telling us, what history is telling us. But again, it's something to definitely prepare for. So as people aren't going out, they're not spending money, that money slowly starts trickling down. So the new buildings, so that could be from building new homes, new businesses, all kinds of different things. People just are slowing down. The money isn't flowing to the point where it can justify all these new funds for building and construction. So the supporting industries, I mean, that definitely affects so many more people than just, the people that are actually building. So, I mean, you're looking at even going down to the small contractors, general contractors. So this would be roofers, electricians, plumbers, lumber and cement manufacturing. So again, it just has a ripple effect. But interestingly, so when you think about some of those more specialized positions like plumbers, electricians, now what if you did that same job but did it at a hospital? They need those people. So again, if you are in the financial sector for a construction company versus a financial section of a hospital, you're going to be a lot more secure working for healthcare than you are going to be in the construction field. So again, just kind of highlighting certain jobs in different industries can still look very much different. So home furnishings and retail, especially right now when we literally aren't supposed to be going out, people aren't buying like they used to. They're not going out and shopping around and buying things. Things like interior decorating and all those things are taking a back seat. Either people have lost their jobs or worried that they're going to, so everyone's really tightening up. Auto dealerships and other motor vehicle sales. So again, people aren't, for the most part, aren't going out to shop for new cars. They're holding on to their old ones. They're waiting it off. Vacation and travel, again, right now, not a great industry to be in. I think that goes kind of without explanation. And then printing and related services. So as companies right now are starting to cut back to keep from letting go people, they look at other places, right, that they can start to narrow down. So it's looking at non-essential expenses. So all the printing services, so business cards, handouts, flyers, all those different types of things, people are saying, hey, right now we can do without those. So that's definitely another industry that is taking a hit right now. So the takeaways that we can talk about here is do your research, So you're interested in a certain area. Let's look at the past. How did this profession handle it in 2008 during the recession? How are they doing right now? What are the industry experts in your field saying about different companies, different businesses? There's so much research out there right now at the tip of your fingers that it should be pretty easy to find some information. And if you get to the point of the interview process for any of these positions that you're looking for, these are questions to ask and very normal. How has this affected your company? What are your plans for the future as far as they know? How did they handle it in 2008? What did that look like? So all of these good questions to speak to, how healthy is the company financially? Do they have plans for layoffs? All of that good stuff. And then weighing the pros and the cons. So again, like we talked about at the beginning, there's risk and reward. Is it worth it for you to take this chance on this job due to the pay or the hours or it offering a lot of flexibility? Are you willing to give up some pay in order to have something more stable? That's more valuable to some people. So it's really taking time to know what's valuable for you, what you need day to day in order to feel comfortable, to feel motivated. Again, some people are just going to thrive differently in different situations. So making that money in the front end and being able to save it is enough to keep someone going in the event that something happens versus someone else needing that day-to-day stability. So again, know yourself, talk it through, weigh out the pros and cons. We at the Career Center are definitely here to help you brainstorm those ideas. So if you are at a point where I'm thinking about these different positions, these different industries, I just don't know, then, reach out to us, make an appointment with us at the Career Center through Handshake, and we can help you with that and definitely show you even more tools and resources to help you make an informed decision. Because the biggest thing right now is be informed. Don't go into any of this blindly. There's too much research out there. There's too much at your fingertips for you to have to do that. So again, just lots of reading, talking to people, networking, and finding out what's going on is going to be in your best interest. And then here's a few of our upcoming events. So on May 21st, we have the Industry Insights, Public Service and Nonprofit from 12 to 1, and as well the May 29th, A Day in Your Life. We're going to have a lighting and compositing artist from Real FX come visit. Both of these are registered through Handshake and are obviously done virtually. So please come join us for those. Thank you so much for attending. Just a reminder of our virtual office hours and virtual resume labs, both accessible through Handshake.